probably already too many getting in there. No. Damn it. Well, I don't know. There was 1,700 a second ago. Maybe this will have to do. Let's see. We'll break these into pieces here. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back again to our epic Vlandian campaign. You are back with the Baron here in the northwest part of Calradia. I live in the northwest, the Pacific Northwest of the United States of America. And these places couldn't be more different, right? It's snowy. It's open here. We have tons of trees and it rains. I got to fix this banner. Let's see. Error pasting banner code. Okay. Well, at least it's a black background with the cool looking Red Bull. Now our cities are starting to get fortified, and I would say this period in a campaign is called consolidation of gains, right? We are going to try to take Pravend here. It's risky, right? Because our army is not uber. It's pretty damn good, but we're still upgrading a lot of troops. Again, we don't have the best troops from Calradia. We're denying ourselves Fiend Champs. We're denying ourselves any units that are not from the Vlandians or minor clans, right? Minor clans, bandits, and stuff like that. I'm growing worried, of course, about the Aserai because as we continue to expand, they will see us as a threat. Now, they're still at war with the Khuzait. That's good. The bad news is they might be big enough to fight us both. Now, the Vlandians are on the deathbed, or at least we're pushing them that direction. Of course, the Baron has been instrumental in that. These stupid dipshit Vlandians made a bad decision by betraying the most vindictive man in Calradia. Now, we've got one minor clan, but that's all we can call to us here, which means we're basically fighting an uphill battle almost every battle. We're probably going to be outnumbered in 90% of the battles from this way out. The reinforcement system continues to be a threat, especially here, right? I'm worried about Vlandians joining. Potentially Sturgeons could join. Actually, the Aserai could join as well. And all kinds of carnage is happening here. People are getting executed left and right. There's an abnormal amount of rebellions, and I can talk about that. That's sort of accidental, but sort of intentionally caused as well. Khuzait has made peace with the Khuzait. This is very bad news. This is basically saying Khuzait is going to turn all of his wrath on us. Now we've got George the Bandit King here. We've got some people returning from quests, and that's very timely because not only are they getting all the accomplishments and joys and gold and whatnot of a quest, but these guys are bringing troops back with them, and we need it because here come the Vlandians. They look like they're heading this way. They may even attack us outside the city. We are at Pravend, and this is probably, most people consider this the Vlandian capital. There's a huge garrison here, and the Vlandians, quite frankly, are running out of capitals. They have this, I think they have Carbanthith, and that might be it for cities, right? The Aserai have most of the land to the south. Now, I can kind of watch here because it looks like that guy turned around and is heading to Ox Hall. We'll see what he does. We may get attacked outside here, but our army is starting to heal, and with the quests, you know, we're starting to approach 1,000, which I've always said that's my sweet spot for an army in Calradia. I wish some of these minor clans would join us. They're joining our enemies. It would be really nice for us to add at least one more minor clan. I think the maximum is 3 without mods. We'll take 3 if we can get it. Okay, so that's just the Vlandians over there. In a way, that's good for the Vlandians to be sieging, to be committing to siege. As our good friend Entho runs around here. It's amazing, this guy Entho. Ox Hall being besieged by the Vlandians mean they can't add on to this fight as a reinforcement army, which is good. Now, Entho, damn, he's friendly to the Vlandians. He likes us. We gave him some money the last time we met him. We just dropped a bag of gold on him. He kind of looks like Baron York's cousin. I was going to say Baron York's younger cousin. I guess all cousins, hopefully, unless you're doing some inbreeding, are younger. And this continues to happen. We're getting traits popping up here. It's almost like there's a delayed effect. Of course, you've been watching. I haven't done anything generous. So Baron York is deceitful, sadistic, and generous. That's quite a mix, an eclectic mix to be sure. I didn't do any editing for any of the traits. This is all just natural. In fact, the Baron, apart from his visuals, this entire campaign is natural. What I mean by that is even though we have edited a few characters, we have George the Bandit King, which is somebody else's character just in this campaign. I've edited some of the looks of some of the units. The Baron is completely, I guess we'll call him organic, right? There's no chemical infusion, much like we've done to some of the units in the game. The Wazuban and Zuvan, of course, those two are, the names are related. Or whether it's Glaron, Heavy Hand. There's some edited characters in this campaign, but the Baron is all organic, no steroids. Now, as usual, we're trying to blast down the counter siege here, and our guys have almost... I think this is the perfect mix, but it's at night. So, you know, I'm going to ask you fellas, what do you think? Should we do a night battle? And crickets, of course, because you guys aren't watching live. We will get back to doing these live at some point, maybe for the Nordic campaign. Of course, these campaigns here are much harder to do live because of the nature of the cutscenes and whatnot. I'm building in this story. We're going to launch this siege here. Even though it's nighttime, hopefully there's enough daylight, or at least light in-game for you guys to see. I have tinkered a little bit with the exposure. We're going to break out the Baron's crossbow here. And this is going to be a gnarly siege, right? Strap yourself in. Every single siege like this could be the death of characters, could be the death of the Baron. We could get captured, and the entire campaign could go sideways. The Baron, of course, in his young empire is in a particularly vulnerable state. Now, we've got a blizzard, as if the visuals weren't gnarly enough. It does make for an epic scene, though, right? There's flames and snow and guys shooting flaming bolts, like that's a thing. And we're going to have, you know, guys roaring up siege towers. Now, I'm already leaning towards attacking the right side of the city here, and that is because long time ago, I sieged this city with an archer-only army, and we had some success sweeping from right to left. So we're going to try it again. We're outnumbered, but at least the enemy doesn't have counter siege. Now, we've got a hell of a lot of javelin throwers. We got a bunch of brigands, sea raiders, and we're starting to accumulate a pretty decent lake rat army. We have probably 30 or 40 from prisoners, and then occasionally bandits will have lake rats. So we've been steadily recruiting them, and that's a happy addition to Baron York's army. Even though they're bandits, and I'm sticking within the rules, they're a highly auxiliary unit to the Vlandians, especially that lack skirmishers. And of course, I love using skirmishers, so that's a very welcome addition for me. Now, Marco leading the first. I've got these captains, right? You guys that are riding along in this campaign, I fucking think it's great. Although, strap yourself in, right? Every single one of these could be the death of Marco or George the Bandit King. You know, I apologize if your companions die, but it is what it is, right? It's a violent campaign, and we're sending you guys over the walls, right? This is going to be a bloody battle, even if there are no reinforcements. These little icons are kind of bright. Let's see if we want to adjust that here. I want you guys to be able to see our units, but I don't need it to look like, you know, there's magic and shit on the battlefield. You know, this siege is going to be bloody even without reinforcements, and the odds of reinforcements joining this battle are significant, right? Because the Vlandians are roaming around with armies. They have a bunch of smaller armies roaming around. We could get sturgeons adding on here. So strap yourself in. This is going to be a gnarly siege, and anything but a done deal. I'm going to try to apply pressure on this left side, but we're going to make a huge hard thrust on the right side. That's what she said. We're going to put all of our energy into one gigantic deep thrust all the way in. We're going to be infantry deep inside this castle. Trying to get too lewd here for the 3 people that are underage watching this shit. You shouldn't be watching this. If you're 12 years old and you're watching our campaign, go ask your parents. Your parents probably shouldn't let you watch YouTube at 12. What the fuck? All right, now this is very temporary. I'm just sort of babysitting. I've given them 2 archer divisions here to help the infantry up that wall. And all I really want them to do, the Marco, good luck, man. You guys are not going to be able to take this side, but I need you to distract the enemy with your deaths. Hopefully not literally with your deaths here. Let's turn this down. Hopefully not literally with your deaths, but, you know, I need you guys to apply pressure. At least I gave you a couple archer division, right? I'm not just suiciding these guys. And we'll take another shot or 2 here. But the main thrust is going to be to the right here. I've got a fire catapult. I'm going to man here. This is definitely something I've learned in epic long siege assaults. You never want to be over the walls right away unless you have a very clear objective, like seizing the Greek fireballs within the city, right? And unless you have some urgent need, this is always going to be my preference. And what I like about this too is I can catch my breath. There's this little red strip. It looks like I don't know what it looks like. It looks like they rolled out the red carpet for the Baron over here. It looks weird. Must be a bug or something like that. Thank you, fellas. You dipshits shooting the catapult all the way to the other side of the city. Let's hit the guys that are right in front of us. How about it? How about it this, fellas? Now, of course, the more you do this, the better you get at it. And I've gotten pretty comfortable with the fire catapult of late, right? You change the distance. What's nice about it is you can just hit the walls and you'll still kill guys because it has sort of an explosive radius. And as soon as I hit the wall, it doesn't kill anybody. I don't know what I'm talking about. You guys should find a different YouTube channel where the guy actually knows what he's talking about. I do have a skirmisher division. I forgot to mention that. The 2nd division is commanded by the Baron, captained by the Baron. There we go. I hit the wall and it killed like 10 guys. And that division we're going to use once we're inside the city. This is extreme patience. It's a bunch of lake rat wreckers and brigands and other bandits that have throwing weapons and javelins, and we're going to wait until those guys are in the city. So for now it's just crossbow play, and the 8th division is also on hold fire. Oh shit, don't go anywhere, buddy. They're shooting at my horse, fucking assholes. This is something I've just learned with these extraordinarily difficult sieges. Of course, you're not going to face sieges like this in vanilla Bannerlord. 1,500 defenders. Not only that, but reinforcements, right? At this stage, I'm expecting reinforcements. I'll be surprised if there aren't reinforcements. And of course, with reinforcements, one of the dangers is you get caught halfway in the city with half of your troops in and half of them out. You need to have some sort of defense force to repulse the enemy. And so I'm considering the 8th, and I'll probably have to break the 2nd into 2 divisions. We'll see what happens. We may not get any armies. I might just be hyping this up. I do that so you keep watching. I'm supposed to make you guys watch as much as possible as a content maker and stuff like that. So there's going to be tits and naked shit later on in this episode, and we'll do an incredible historical commentary that is like better than anything you've ever seen. We'll do some of the hyperbole that you see on YouTube, all the clickbait that's out there. We try to avoid that shit. There's a lot of YouTube, even for Bannerlord, where they post, you know, like absolute clickbait is the title for the video, and I get baited into clicking it, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was fucking so dumb. It's like amazing things you've never learned about Bannerlord, and it's like you can hold fire with your archers and the archers will still have ammo. It's like, come on, man, give me something new. Anyways, we're not going to try to do that shit. We're going to try to keep this authentic, and I'm not desperate here to acquire views for the channel. But, you know, we're still trying to grow this as a potential hobby job for me, so I'm going to do my best to entertain you fellas. And I think sieges like this are certainly entertaining. I can tell you guys that I thrill for this shit. Even though I've done this 100 times, it's fucking amazing, right? You got all these different elements. With the reinforcement system, it's even more gnarly. And there's grand strategy. Like a lot of guys would attack the gate. We're going to sweep around in the courtyard from right to left. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start putting forces down here in the courtyard, stationing them, moving them up like a strategy game. And then we're going to try to block off these upper ramparts so that the enemy can't get to us here, right? Can't prevent us from getting more troops up this siege tower. Now the 8th Corps is in a big giant spread division holding fire because I'm anticipating being attacked outside. It's happened enough. Now we're used to it. Of course, if you've been watching this whole campaign, you probably saw about episode 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, I experienced live, or at least in an episode, the first time the reinforcement system where the enemy attacks you with cavalry outside a city. It's an amazing development. That made me fall alone. That alone made me fall in love with the reinforcement system, and it continues to add dynamism to this campaign. So there's a huge horde of troops that we're slowly bringing up. The 2nd Division with their javelins. Why are you guys going the wrong way? Charge. There's guys shooting us. Charge. I want these guys standing here in a square. I don't know why they're going over there. What I want is right about here, sort of at the top of this little tavern or whatever, this 3-story house. I want these guys to stand right here. No, I want you guys to stop. Yeah, and now they're shoving me the other way. Man, these guys here are acting bizarre. All right, let's take a look here, see what we got. So the gate, of course, thousands of troops at the gate. You fucker. Militia's trying to shoot the Baron. Let's try a little different here. Let's move a square here because the enemy's still trying to get archers in this tower and on the wall. The motherfuckers are trying to shoot me right now. These little bull-cut militia. We're gonna fucking make your wife a cook there, dude. They still have archers all over the walls. You fucking assholes. Oh, shit. I thought I was going to be able to stab him. Instead, he, like, aimed right in my face and shot me in the chest. Yeah, here we go, right? Gallagher's party. I can't... I think... Well, I'm sure it was join the enemies. I'm trying to fight here and look down at the reinforcement system. Motherfucking archers or crossbow coming up here in a hurry. We're going to have to fend this off. And then I've got to start taking a look outside because we're going to have to command both here. This is exactly what I mean, right? We're going to have to do some micromanagement here. And we're going to have to try to fight through the chaos of this. Of course, there's hundreds of troops at the front gate. They've got archers. Never mind the other side of the city, right? I was going to say the left side. We'll call it the left side, right? The left side as you're looking towards it. Here come the cavalry, or at least our cavalrymen. They're starting to send archers over here towards our troops as they get in here and reinforce. 2nd, 5th, the 8th is outside. We can start splitting some units here. And here's where you want to start using that 8th division outside, right? These guys are positioned. Notice they're behind our troops there. That way the enemy is sort of... likely to attack the troops that are coming up the ladder, and then those guys can charge, right? It's kind of similar to a square, just not as effective. I get this division set up down here behind this little tavern. You guys can get a drink there while you wait. And now we assess the outside threat, right? Is it one party? I think I saw Dalager's party. I didn't see an army coming. God, and these crossbow are still attacking us from the other direction. Fucking pissing me off, man. And this 7th division, I don't know what to do with them. Here's my conundrum. If they charge, they're going to get killed, right? I just want to keep the access open to this side of the city. They are sending a lot of fucking cavalrymen. So let's charge at the 8th. There are archers in there, so they'll be able to support pretty well. Bakar of the Jawals, join the battle as an enemy. Here we go, right? In fact, I got a little tavern I can jump off there if I want to join the men in the valley. I think what makes sense is for me to stay inside, command as best we can here, and let that 8th Corps fend outside. I'm scratching the proverbial chin here because we're presented with a bunch of different problems at once. I got all these fucking militia moving up and shooting me in the face, fuckers. I love the sounds of these guys dying. Little fucking militia. Die, you filth! Shoot the Baron in the face. He did shoot me right in the head, too. 42 damage. Now I'm gonna kill your friends. They got a horde of troops in the fucking gatehouse. But if I charge at these guys, they're gonna die. It's just, it's one of those things. Like, there's so many different threats going on at once. I don't feel like I can just walk away from it. And we've got to keep this access open. We've got a bunch of troops at least fighting out there now. The 8th Corps is doing their thing. We're getting attacked now inside by cavalry. So things have started to get crazy in a hurry. This second division, I hope they still have some javelins, right? We're going to move in on the enemy here and throttle them with a bunch of skirmishers. And, you can hear it in my voice, right? The strain of this battle is starting to increase. I can see javelins right here. Beautiful, right? There's some banner knights in there, too. Let's systematically move up these boys. And then once we're close, it's time to skewer some weak-ass militia with some javelins here. There's all kinds of rocks laying around down here. I think, you know what those are? Those are from the trebuchet. We got trebuchets firing rounds into the city. It'd be cool if it blew buildings apart and shit like that. Buildings crumpled and shit because it got hit by a trebuchet. I think there'd be major damage by trebuchets to buildings, but I don't know. As much as I'm a fan of military history, there's so many things to know or think you know. All right, let's bore in here. We've got a cavalry division. We've got a few guys coming through the gate here. We've got a little bit of an opening on this side of the keep, and let's just barrel in here. We can probably rip apart this militia pretty quick. They got Fiend Champs in there. I'm already at half health. Might be better if I just kept my head down. Let these troops work. I got a bunch of skirmishers here. The 5th Division has moved up. There's the 4th Division here. It's just some shock troops. Let's get some good angles here. Now, I don't know what's happening outside. I can't see. All I can do is sort of watch the death spam here and chop down some militias. I don't need to actually worry about the guys routing. Let's move in here. The 8th Corps was about 200 guys. It was a strong unit, some of our best nobles, so I'm just going to have to hope that they do work out there. We've got our hands full here. There's fucking militia trying to shoot the Baron. Fucking asshole militia. Okay, we got this. This is the 8th Division in here. We're starting to actually get 8th Corps inside, right? Trying to consolidate our troops, and now they're all together. A lot of their troops are trying to spread out to shoot, and they're getting their organs spread out in the snow. The Baron is on a rampage. Now, I'm worried still about how many troops are coming from outside, so we're going to start bottling up the gate here soon, right? Put a square in front of that gate. I can't tell if these guys are charging. I assume these guys are routing. The Baron does seem to instill fear in the enemy. There's a fucking camel in here. It's fucking crazy. We're still getting shot at from the gatehouse, so charge. Let's fucking apply some pressure up on those walls. I got a horse here. Now you guys done fucked up, right? You just gave the fucking most angry, violent man in Calradia a horse. It's time to terrorize. Let's get behind these bitches here. Charge at those divisions. We should be able to fucking just bore in behind on the enemy. Yeah, you guys fucked up now. It's fucking beautiful. There's a horse just running around. These guys are trying to position. I don't think so. Let's get troops over on this side of the keep. They've got a bunch of archers still trying to form over here. We've got to get to these guys before they start setting up. We'll assess the outside threat once we've cleaned out all the rats inside the keep. Okay, these guys are definitely routing. Okay, it looks like we've got this side. There's just a couple dipshits holding the flag here. Our keep. Our troops are rampaging. I don't actually see a lot of troops outside. Looks like it was very bloody, but our guys made it through. And we might have this shit. It does look like we've got this. There's just carcasses everywhere. Our troops are running off into the snow, so I don't know if they're chasing after units. The ladder's quiet, so I think we got this shit. It's an absolute charnel house here. There's just bodies everywhere. The snow is completely plastered red. I wish I had a horse. I know there's a mod where you can call horses, but I'm trying not to use that. It just feels like a huge advantage. Just for those who wonder, though, there is a mod where I think you can hit a button, your guy whistles, and your horse comes running. I don't know how realistic that is, but it's kind of nice, of course, for a video game. And I can't tell what's going on here. I see death, so there's definitely combat somewhere. And we got our little horse here. I won't whistle in your ear there, but, you know, you guys, we did a little whistle, I guess. Fate brought us a horse, and I think we got this shit. Actually, I'm sure we got this shit. I can't tell what's going on here. Who's this guy shooting at? Is there an enemy, like, stuck over here or something? We got one crossbow guy shooting into the snow. It's like he's shooting at our guys. Is that guy? He might be fucking... What's happening here? Oh, it's a fucking enemy shooting. Oh, okay. I thought that was one of our guys shooting. He's butchering our little woodrunner or whatever. All right, he's dead. He's fucking stuck on the wagon wheel. Is that it? A little bit anticlimactic. You never know, though, right? That's the nature of these. Battle finished. All right. I take the proverbial deep breath here. Every single one of these, right, could just be the battle, but another successful and huge victory for us, right? This is going to be a very important city for us, and of course, you hold your breath on the deaths every time. That was one of our minor clans, just that one of their guys got killed. Comet survived. No kills, Comet. It was a disappointment. Comet Royal, you better start getting more than one kills or we're going to turn you into a chef. Okay, so this is the final stage, right? This is, okay, yeah, so it's just a little keep thing. We'll go ahead and run through this. You know, it's pretty quick. These are still fairly pointless. Every once in a while I hear guys, yeah, I lost and they captured my whole army. I've never heard of that. I mean, well, I've heard of it, I guess, but I've never seen that. Like, I've simulated it where we had like 3 troops left or something like that, but I don't know how you could lose the inner battle here. they typically have total recruits and weak-ass troops. You know, ostensibly they're positioned up here to repel you. It almost feels like the Red Wedding, right? They're in the balcony smoking you. But there's 3 of them. If there was 60, that'd be gnarly, right? They're just fucking spraying you with crossbow bolts. This is another one of those half-baked features. It'd be great if there's 150 defenders in here and they're all firing down into the inner gatehouse at you while you try to bring in your force. Of course, you should be able to bring in all your troops too, though, like eventually, right? Like it should be the kind of thing where if they have 150 in here and you have 200, it represents this final gnarly battle to take the city, because that's the whole purpose of the inner donjon, right? The dungeon. Can't remember what donjon stands for, but that's the actual pronunciation of it. As it is, though, these are never stressful. It's another one of those situations where a lot of people are like, come on, Tail Worlds, you had this amazing opportunity, and you know it's one of those things that could be so much better. Maybe a modder eventually will fix this, or Tail Worlds, but either way, for the campaign, the key here is success, and Pravend is going to be that's kind of a coup for us. That's a huge get. That might be Baron York's capital in this campaign, right? That's the kind of city. It has a huge prosperity, like 7,000-8,000. It is going to require food, so we'll have to run up to Rovalt, get a bunch of food, and then bring it back down here. We've discovered Ento. Oh, that's just some city guy here. I was going to say we've... yeah, we've seen Ento. He's running around. Now, I've got to take a little break. That's the easiest way to describe this. So I'm gonna be right back, and we'll do a little city management here. All right, got some refreshments, all better. And so 8,000 prosperity here. That's amazing, right? So we'll dump all of our food into here. One of the hard things, of course, with a majorly prosperous city is just keeping the citizens fed, especially in wartime, because we're going to be sieged. There's going to be villages raided and shit like that. The Baron has a lot of money, so we're going to continue to buy nice equipment every time we can. I think it makes sense here to buy a crossbow. I should probably put some of this gear into a stash. You know, we're probably going to lose 500,000 in gear if we get captured. But I'm also not too worried about it, right? We've got plenty of money, and there's nothing, I don't have like a legendary Falx sitting in our equipment, right? Then I'd be a little bit more worried about our equipment. For whatever reason, when you're captured, they let you keep your equipment. I'm not sure that was a thing back then. Of course, maybe, I guess with nobles, right? They're not like strip, you bitch. Maybe they did do that. I don't know. So just sell a little bit here, right? They got 140,000 in there. If you guys have never known that, the correlation between the amount of money that's in a city is tied to the prosperity. I had a city once at 15,000 prosperity by doing a gigantic food ramp. I can explain that process here if this is a little bit dull. It does rate to be a little bit dull, unless the Aserai show up, right? We've whipped the sturgeons. What's happening here? There's a caravan? What the fuck is happening here? There's a caravan. Oh, you know what that is? That's that miner clan. I guess his troops decided to attack a caravan and they don't have enough troops. They just got captured by the caravan. Let's go rescue them. Yeah, come with us, you dipshit Vlandian caravan. Come with us. In fact, we're going to execute this guy here. How do you kill this guy? Please don't hurt us. Well, you're our prisoner now. Heaven protect us from the likes of you. You have no idea, dude. It's drawn quarter time, right? You just got captured by the most evil, vindictive character that Calradia has seen in a very long time. Come with us, you fucking dipshit caravan guys. We'll take all of your stuff. And those guys would get de-road, right? The Baron would take all their clothes and then drag them around the snow till they froze to death. All right, so we've got these bizarre little attributes being added to the Baron. Now, I did edit his little caption there. You guys are welcome to go back and pause and read that. We'll occasionally up that little bit, keep up with the lore of Calradia, and it's strategy time, right? One of the things I like to do at this stage of a campaign, we've got to get bigger troops, bigger garrisons set up. So all of these villages here have a huge amount of hearths. That means they have lots of recruits available, lots of food. It might be a little bit boring. We'll do a little bit of a rambling on history. Maybe we'll even go off the rails again with another exploration of the Reformation. I might have gotten a little bit out of order the last episode. You know, it's one of those things. Anytime you talk about religion at all, especially with all the divisiveness of the world today, people get upset. Hopefully I didn't ruffle too many feathers. Understand that I'm definitely not trying to say religion is bad or religion is good. I'm just illustrating the chaos that was involved with the Catholic Church in the 14th and 1500s here. As Entho, here he is. We've got our bodyguard roaming around. The bottom line is there was a huge amount of chaos back then, and it's interesting to me. So I'll try not to harm any try not to hurt anybody's feelings here. It's all quiet in the south, but again, the Aserai are probably coming, right? They got peace with the Khuzait, so that's a little bit worrisome. Hopefully it takes them a couple weeks to get here. We've got to do some consolidation here, and this is what I mean. We got to get some troops. We've got to head over to Revolt and relieve that of that small. It's probably a small army at not Revolt, at Oxhall. It looked like it was 700 or 800 that were coming for us, and then they headed to Oxhall. So we can clean that up real quick and then do a big sweep, gather up supplies, and shit. They're acting like a bodyguard for that guy too. They're coming for Pravend. Wow. Well, we've got to go around him. I mean, I can't fight 2,800 in the open with 500. That's just all there is to it. Discretion is the better part of valor. So we could circle around and maybe we could attack that Vlandian force, but we can't do it while those Vlandian forces are there, right? Because they'll add as reinforcements. So we've got to try to circle around here. We are getting quests back, but we're getting 20 troops and 15. So I keep on dumping our extra here on, on Marco and Comet. But here we go, right? The Aserai are coming to town with 2 huge armies, and buckle up, right? This is going to get gnarly. And this is, this was implicit with this campaign. This is the intent, is to make it gnarly. I thought we'd have a little bit more time than that. They're just barreling in with 2 massive armies. I've got the Vlandians here. I've got to go get more troops. We've got to heal, and there's more armies coming. Look at that shit. There's just armies everywhere. So there's a smaller army of Vlandians forming. This Sturgeon army looks like it's heading to Drapand. If we fight right now, these other armies will add in, and we'll get captured for sure. The reinforcement system, these Aserai forces will join. They're close enough to join. I would say the distance right now where that Sturgeon army is to Pravend, they would still join as reinforcements, just so you guys know. So roughly the distance there from Oxhall to Pravend, you'll get reinforcements add. And you can think about it, they can see sort of in the, is this another army? Holy shit. We got problems here. We got big time problems. If there's more Sturgeons here, this is a situation where you just throw up your hands and you want to be like, rage quit. We quit. What we're going to do here is isolate this Sturgeon force. I need all those Aserai forces to commit to the city. That'll make it so they can't join as reinforcements. Once we destroy the Sturgeon force, we can loop around to Oxhall, destroy that force, then get inside Pravend and defend Pravend. Right? That is plan A. Plan B, I don't know. Plan B is probably get captured. Let's see what we can do here. Hey, look at who's on the other side here. We got Entho. We got him cornered, Entho. We got this bitch right where you want him. Of course, he's barreling in because he probably has a better army than us. He's going to have, I guess it's a she, Yachana. She's going to have,
I think you're
lots of Varangians, as if this wasn't hard enough. Entho. We've got Entho, though. Entho's probably going to join, which remains another awesome feature of this campaign. Entho might even join if we attack. No, we can't attack the Aserai, and he won't join inside the city defense, of course, but we've got this friend, right? It's amazing. And we've got a blizzard here, but we've got quite the army to destroy Sturgia at this stage, right? At this stage, I want to say Sturgia is easier of the two, even though they have those incredibly powerful Varangians. We've got now a Javelin division, 3 crossbow divisions, and a shield and shock attack that we can come in from the left flank here. This is going to be savage. So let's have this 7th division. Look at this. It's like 3/4 of those are Lake Rats, either veterans or Lake Rat wreckers. So that division is going to wreck, and we're going to give him George the Bandit King. How appropriate is that? I didn't think of that element, but George, you're in charge of a bandit division, although I guess Lake Rat Wreckers technically are a minor clan. If you're wondering why we get so many, some of the bandits that are amplified in our game right now have Lake Rats, right? They have low-level Lake Rats, and we've been getting prisoners and upgrading them slowly. course, they're easy to protect because they can kite, right? Although in a battle like this, they're going to be near the front lines. 600 infantry, so it's just a huge amount of Varangians and other tough sturgeons, but we've got the medicine for what ails us. We're uphill. We're going to be able to completely surround, killbox this crew, and then move on to the next challenge. That's really what this campaign is. This is, you know, in a lot of ways, this is much harder than the deathmatch campaign that Zuvan was in, partly because the Baron, we're role-playing that he won't give peace. Of course, strategically, in a campaign like this, you would just give peace to everybody but your weakest opponent. You would pay for it. You would smash the shit out of your weakest opponent and move on to the next. But we're adding a little role-playing element. I mentioned it before. There won't ever be peace with the Vlandians, and we're only going to take peace from Sturgia or the Aserai if they pay us money, which right now doesn't seem super likely, but if we beat the shit out of them long enough, maybe they will. The Sturgeons were actually willing to pay us recently, so maybe after we crush them here, I anticipate crushing them here, then maybe they'll pay us for peace. I better focus on this battle here. The power bar favors them. They do have a gnarly army. They've got all kinds of fiend champs. Let's get the 2nd and 3rd division up and rush those archers. They've got a huge amount of infantry in the middle, but that infantry is impotent. They don't have any cavalry assisting them. We're going to be able to move in shock troops over here. The 8th Corps is just going to be able to counter-attack their cavalry. The Baron's got his spear out. Spreading fear and discontent. Let's get the 2nd and 3rd and just trample the shit out of these archers. Of course, we have crossbow in here strafing their archers as well. Have a spear up your ass. They do have some cavalry over here, but those crossbow are going to be able to melt it pretty quick. Now I've just got to keep an eye on our other divisions. The line of sight here is not terrific. The 1st division is probably most vulnerable because the enemy is going to be able to close on it. In fact, they're getting close already. Might just push those guys like off the field, right? You just, sometimes it's better to have your divisions further away in a kill box and slowly move them up. Archers are shredding from this flank. We got this 8th Cav division over here helping us repel enemy cavalry. Now the 6th and 7th can start getting flanking angles here, and it's going to light these motherfuckers up. 2nd and 3rd can charge on that far side over there. And then, of course, we can do a giant swirling cavalry, shock troop, everything motherfucking kill box at the end of this battle. Now, I'm not charging with this cavalry. Very temporary feint attack. 2nd and 3rd down here. Let's trample these fucking archers. These guys are definitely now firing away with broadsides. Love shield and shock for a situation like this, right? Disrupt all their archers with armored horses, come in behind with shock troops. Let's get our 1st division back in here. Eventually you fight in hand-to-hand here, right? You run out of crossbow bolts. You know, we don't have arrows. It's different than with Ryland, where he has Khuzait, where they have triple the ammo we have, right? We don't have that much ammo, so we're relying more on blunt force at the end of this. Now, we still have our skirmishers. Those guys just got up to line here. You can tell these guys to start lighting it up, and look at the javelins and axes flying through the air. Lovely. Let's get this 1st division back here. The archers are starting to scramble, and they're starting to get butchered by our horse and shock troops. Let's move this archer division up. Look at these poor archers. Have a spear, boys. Their infantry's starting to get swirled on. Looks like about half of those guys' javelins are expelled. They're lighting it up. I mean, they're just racking up kills with javelins. And you can see the javelins raining through the air. It's beautiful. Let's start moving in for the kill here. 4th, 5th, and 6th. This 1st division I want in first, right? You don't want to charge with crossbow at the beginning. You want the enemy's attention on the infantry, so we'll bore in here with the 1st and 7th. 2nd and 3rd will make their way up here eventually. After they've butchered some archers. Fucking enemies getting reinforcements. It's Vlandian, too. You sons of bitches, Vlandian. Let's kill these guys quick here before the reinforcements come up to aid them. There's still a huge amount of Sturgeon infantry here. It's testament to how tough they are and how many there were. Whoa, 600. But the death spam looks beautiful. Take a screenshot, right? It's just fizzing green. Now it's going to get red here because we just charged, and they have Varangians. I still see Varangians here blocking everything. Die. Let's send in these guys too. We need every single ounce of fucking firepower here. Now, Lake Rat Wreckers don't do great in melee. You definitely want to sop the enemy up. I don't see a lot of javelins though, so it looks like they expelled most of their javelins. Now we need them to fight. And look at that flush of red. Man, that's amazing. This is weakened Sturgeons, and they still did a number on us here. This is where I think Ryland has an advantage in a battle like this. I would have just kited until they were virtually dead. Kill box, a true kill box, where the enemy never even gets to reach your infantry. They still got tough infantry slashing at me and shit. Fuck you guys. And we're surrounding them with every division, and they're still fucking killing people. Now, we don't see reinforcements coming up yet, so at least we're a little bit of a reprieve here. Look at, there's George the Bandit King over there still firing his javelins. It's fucking sweet. And I see Entho in here, dude. You can see the white shields, dude. Entho's got to be in our campaign. You know he's going to be in our campaign. Those are his units. It's fucking sweet, man. We have had this rebel, I've never had this happen before. We've had this rebel participate in like 7-8 battles at this stage. Now this battle's over, or it should be over, unless we botch something here at the end or a huge army joins. But it's amazing. It's a really nice feeling to have this, you know, this extra 150 troops that sort of come in late too, right? When your army's starting to run out of steam, here comes Entho and his crossbow reserve division. It's fucking beautiful. Now, what's really strange, of course, is we own the city that he was a rebel from, right? You would think he would hate us too, but we did dump a bunch of gold on him, right? And of course, back in the old days, gold was everything, right? You could give gold to the enemy who you'd been killing for 3 years, and they would kill somebody else for you, right? It's all about gold. Frankly, it's not that different today, right? There's all kinds of chicanery and fucking corruption. Cut down some recruits here and wrap this episode up. They do have a little force here, right? So we've got to sort of concentrate forces. These Vlandians are late to the party, but they're not just laying down and dying, right? We don't need to lose another 60 troops here. I mean, this is for sure the foreplay, right? We've got to deal with a gigantic defense force at Pravend. God, the city. You know, imagine being a citizen of the city. It just got sieged in a monster siege. Like the day after, it gets an even bigger siege of another fucking foreign force. They must be like, holy shit. And of course, that did happen a lot, right? Throughout the wars, all through the 13th, 14th, 15th century, the 30 Years' Wars, because it was sort of a rolling war over 30 years. More deaths, but not for our army, thank goodness. Our companions are racking up some nice kill counts here. And victory, right? Ultimately, almost 300 casualties, but we'll take it, right? Relative to what it could have been if we didn't use tactics. That would have been a very bloody battle. We might even lose that if we just F1, F3. And we're over for prisoners, but I'm still looking for prisoners that we can take that I really want. I want Lake Rat Wreckers. I especially want forest bandits. I want archers because they have more ammo, right? The crossbows are really nice for initial damage. They have great versatility, but when you run out of ammo in battles like that, it's a problem. So I'm trying to have, you know, a nice 5% of the army be archers, traditional archers with 2 bags of quivers. That way they have staying power. Otherwise, we got to do, you know, a lot of micromanaging. Let's put this on the Baron, right? We need to start protecting this guy's noggin. He knows people are trying to put an axe into his head. So let's give him some even better armor. He's already really well armored. It's not quite as an iconic look there, but we'll roll with it. The Baron at this stage is not as concerned about style. I wish we could have him join our army. They you know, that would be another nice feature, is if you could, you know, pay a rebel clan to basically be a mercenary. Be like, hey, I'll give you 100 grand if you follow us around for a year. Whoops, I'm looking at him right here. And see, he hates everybody except the Vlandians. So as long as we're not fighting the Vlandians, he's going to join our side, which is awesome. I think that's great. And like I said, we're almost certainly going to create a character. And what I'll do is I'll just clone that guy, especially if he disappears, right? I hope more Aserai don't come. It's going to be almost impossible if more come. A lot of times the rebels just disappear. It says so-and-so is lost and stuff like that. If they lose their city. Maybe that's if their leader gets killed or captured or something. Executed. Shit. Okay, they're sieging down the city. I don't have time to go to Ox Hall and take on that Vlandian force. In fact, they're just trying to starve out Ox Hall. But Ox Hall has a lot of food. So Pravend is the next thing on the agenda. And I'm gonna have to fucking sit up for this shit. This is gonna be gnarly. We just sieged it, and I would say I'm gonna wait overnight, I think, here. I would say conservatively, or what's a better way to say it? Here, I'll give it a letter grade. I would say it's a C- for defense. The layout is not highly defendable. You know, if this was Veron Castle, I wouldn't say this is going to be just super easy, but it might be. If we had a highly defendable location, 800 cavalry? This is going to be hell, right? We're facing amplified enemies. Wazuban is there. Yeah. Oh, and we didn't need that. God, look at that. That's terrible. There's no way we would have suffered 100 casualties there, but I don't want to fight little tiny battles like that and bore you guys to death. That's 100 casualties, though, we didn't need before this siege. And they give us a few little bandit prisoners, but that doesn't really make up for the fact that we've got a bunch more dead and injured. There's some argument to me said, just leave this city, let it go, right? Choose another opportunity. And then I'm sure I can hear some of you guys in the background saying, come on, man, you do epic sieges like this all the time. You should be able to do this. I've seen you do 500 versus 10,000. This is very different, friends. And I'll explain why as we come up to this city here. These foes we're facing are unbelievably augmented. Hopefully I can find Wazuban here. I saw his name in one of those armies. Yeah, here he is. I'll be able to show you why it's so hard, right? Ordinarily, you're facing mortal enemies, right? We're facing immortal fucking enemies. And of course they can be killed. That's not what I mean. What I mean is these are fucking demigods of Bannerlord. And we've made them that way to ramp up the difficulty for this campaign. With the Strength and AI mod, with the other mods that we've used to edit these enemy characters, right? I said earlier we haven't edited the Baron, but we've certainly edited Wazuban. And look at this fucking guy's stats, right? He's got 400 and a lot of weapon skills, but the medicine skill is the most daunting. 446. That means his troops are going to have about 350 hit points each in his army. That's 439 units that are probably mostly elite units with 350 hit points, which means they're going to be ultra tankish, right? With all the other perks that he's going to give them. Basically, ultra maxed out, off the chart difficult. For this campaign, or for this siege defense. Still, we're going to have about 600 or 700 defenders, so we've got a shot here. And it's one of those situations, if we don't fight them here, where do we fight them, right? Sometimes you got to make a stand. I know you guys are eager for it. I'm cracking my proverbial knuckles here, right? Buckle up. Here we go, some epic siege. 2 epic sieges are probably going to be part of this same episode. And here we go, all right? This is what you guys are here for. This is why I thrill for this shit. Guys on Reddit are like, how do I get a siege like that? Well, we've got mods and we've had episodes that explain how to set up sieges like this. You know, I get worn out trying to explain it. You know, you use the right mods and the right circumstances, and these kind of sieges I don't want to say they're commonplace, but they're pretty easy to have happen. It still doesn't take away how gnarly this is going to be. Now we've got 2 different javelin captains, and I think what I'm actually going to do is have 2 different javelin divisions. I don't know if we have enough javelins to go around to both, but what we can do here is use a single square. There's not a lot of room in the courtyard here to put a whole bunch of archers. I can probably put one thin line and then a bunch spread at the back. Of course, we got to have a nice big first division. We've got a lot of militia in here too, right? That's one of the other complicating factors. We have about 700 defenders, but probably 200 is militia. That's not good, right? Those guys are going to melt really quick, especially facing ultra high-end god enemies. There's a lot of militia in there. Shit. Now, of course, we're going to do the normal spread out archers, but there's hills and inns and villages, village buildings in the way here. We don't have great line of sight for this battle. fact, I'm at kind of a loss how to use this left side. I guess you just stretch a whole bunch of archers here. They can kind of hit the enemy as they're coming up those ladders. On the right side, it's a little more clear because there's a ladder down to them. Trying to think the 1st Division. We've got to have most of our meat there. I can put an infantry division over here, right? We could put the 2nd right there. I think most of those troops, as they come over the wall, will come towards the center gate here. So I think we're okay there. I'm actually going to put a division up there, and we'll be able to play with them a little bit with skirmishers and archers. Pound them as they come up to that division. Use them in a defensive mode. This 8th Division has an incredible amount of peasants. Normally that's a really good division. The 7th has some of our best archers, so we'll put them here where they're definitely going to be prominently needed. Get some captains assigned here. I'm already starting to sweat. It's a hot day in the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of incongruous with the snow. I need like a cold AC unit blowing on me to simulate this shit. We've got Comet. We're going to have to put some of these units in the 8th Corps for safety, right? I don't want to kill these companions. That 4th Division has a nice mix of like Volgiers. There's some militia in there too. God. All right. We can get to these fire catapults. Let's make sure our alignment is pretty good here. They don't have a siege tower, so there's not much to destroy with the siege catapult. I think we might be able to destroy the ram, but I think it's a long shot, right? They're going to have maxed out siege skill. The guys they watch this and they're like, why didn't you destroy the ram? You don't understand. When you're facing enemies that have 350 siege skill, and that's literally what they have here, that means the ram has like so many hit points that siege doesn't even hurt it. Out of the way there, fellas. The easiest way to describe it is the vanilla, you're fighting against captains, right? Enemy lords that have 100 siege skill, or maybe they have 150. The rare guy has 200. Here, our enemy has 300 in most of the relevant stats, right? So they're maxed out for all the perks. Their perk list would be hilarious to look at. It would be the whole screen. And some of them, it's more than just the perk itself, right? It's more than they get magnitudes of that perk. So a perfect example is Wazuban. I think I saw 446 for medicine skill. So let's do some real quick math here as I shell the enemy with this catapult. Ordinarily, I think the perk is you get 1 hit point for every medicine skill over 250. So if you max it at 330, right? 330 is the normal hard cap. They get 80 extra hit points, right? So 250 to 330, 80 extra. So your typical infantryman has about 200 hit points with that perk. I think Wazuban has 446 for medicine skill. That means he gets, 116 more hit points than the normal 330 max. So instead of them having 200 hit points, they have like 320 hit points or more. Yeah, yikes, right? So crazy shit. That's why sometimes you'll see one of our enemy foes. In fact, look, 224 damage delivered. Right in the middle, 228 damage delivered. Those are units that got drilled by a catapult and didn't die. They just stood there and they're like, that's all you got, bitches? So the difficulty on this is extraordinary. It's beyond hell mode, right? This is unbelievably difficult, but bring it, right? That's what we're here for. You guys see us crush it. You guys want to see us struggle sometimes. Sometimes we're going to lose sieges like this, and when you win them, it's even more sweet. And I think we have the siege skills and the units here necessary to win this, despite the difficulty. Right, we're absolutely flaming them here with fire catapults. This is the kind of siege defense that Baron York might get 600-700 kills. Right? I'm going to certainly get a couple hundred just with fireballs. We've got his crossbow. If we can bottle him up good at the gate, it's going to be fucking fish in a barrel. We're flaming him left and right. I mean, the screen is just filling with the dead here as he chucks flaming fireballs and kills guys en masse. And I've kind of, figured out the timing on that to throw the fireballs perfectly, have these serfs of mine, these Banner Knight serfs, load the catapult. I get all the kills. They do all the work. It's exactly what a despot would do, right? He would take all the credit, do all the killing. I'm not going to look, but we probably got 200 kills already. Baron York got 200 kills in the first 2 minutes of this siege. And we've still got the rocks inside the gatehouse here. Now, you can't see the power bar. This is for sure a siege defense that I'm just going to remove that. You're not going to be able to see it. I don't want you to know whether or not we're crushing them or vice versa. Little element of suspense here. I'm partly saying it to remind myself. Some guys say I should always remove the power bar. we'll see. My tendency is towards removing the power bar in this campaign. Almost every battle seems close or gnarly. I am probably going to do that the majority of the time, but if I forget it sometimes or something like that, you guys will just have to forgive me, right? You have to forgive me, otherwise, oh well, you can fuck off, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, it's an accident. This shit's effectively free content, right? Other than the ads or whatever you're getting. If you don't like it, right? You can pipe up just like some of the guys do and say, I don't like it when you talk about religion. It fucking pisses me off. You know, that feedback is welcome. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about religion, but I'm trying to make the most amount of people happy, right? We're using some utilitarianism here, right? You guys, you fans of Bentham, we're definitely a believer in utilitarianism here. Now, I'm looking at this division, and they don't have many javelins. I thought we had a lot more Lake Rat wreckers than that. I guess I underestimated it. And you know what else might be happening? All those injuries and death from these battles. We may have just lost a lot of our Lake Rats. So this division is kind of in the way. I've got to get some archers here instead. Since we don't have javelins to unload on the enemy with, we're going to have to get some crossbow bolts in here. And the other division is getting pounded on over there, and I don't want those guys fighting on the walls. Fucking enemies coming down the walls over there. Okay, at least we've got a whole bunch of archers here now that are starting to spray in arrows behind me. That's good. That looks really good. And we're going to have to get bloody in this battle. And you know, there's companions swaying back and forth in these fucking huge brawls. Hold on, Marco. Fight. All right, now this is doable over here. I pulled that 3rd division over here, and here's where it's going to pay off. I have that square above me behind on the upper ramparts. We're going to be able to dump javelins into the flank of the enemy as they're attacking that square. In addition to the archers shooting, these skirmishers are going to be able to do a nasty one on these guys on the walls. This is kind of what I meant. Like, this is a C- city. There's no real easy way to get archers on the enemies on this side. So here's what we're going to have to do. I can drag this 4th division down here. As the enemy's coming, I can chuck javelins here, right? Fire! And these guys should just unload. Yeah, look at that shit. Just huge volleys of javelins right in the back of the enemy as their forces get melted. Shit, I'm hitting the fucking militia already. The square at the gate is breaking down already. It's not a good sign. Of course, there's militia in there. We just don't have a lot of high-end troops left. Now the other side is slowly starting to break down. I see units coming down the steps. So even with 70 elite crossbow over there on our right flank, they're still shooting right through those they're still coming down right through those crossbow. Now this 8th division is just not very functional. A whole bunch of militia, weak-assed archers here. In fact, I'm just going to get these guys moved back. We'll use them at a later stage of this siege. I've got to get some better crossbow up here. We need the firepower, right? There's endless... Fuck, they blasted that 4th division. They just shoved right through it. Okay, let's add them to the other square. And the enemy won't die either. They're just taking blow after blow. Fuck, they're rolling through the gate. Let's close this gate up more. That's 7th division. I might be able to split that. Fuck, these guys just blew right through that division. We might have to charge with that 8th Corps already. That 3rd Corps we can also use as a square here. We can do a pillar defense. Look at, they're pouring through this door. I thought this is a siege ladder over here. How are they getting so many troops through it? I mean, we do have archers over there shooting them. I don't know how they're just wading right through it. God damn. These units are also taking incredibly low damage, and I presume that's from a bunch of perks. Of course, the enemy does get, they do use banners too, so who knows what they have. These are starting to break down here. I'm getting very uncomfortable. The infantry's non-stop pouring down there. The death spam just flushed very red. They just trucked our fucking 1st division. They got surrounded. We're going to have to get some of this 6th division over here. Let's see. The 8th division is so weak, we're just going to have to fucking charge. Like, these guys got to get up here. They're getting bored into on both sides. Fuck. Man, it's Banner Knight, Vanguard Ferris. And it feels very defeat-like at this stage. You're not supposed to be in a siege at this stage where they're just rampaging through the courtyard. And the Baron is not afraid of very much, but you know, between you and I, the viewer, the Baron is very afraid of Wazubon. And if you're following the campaign closely, you know why. If you've been following especially the Aserai and the Vlandian campaign, you know the Baron is afraid of Wazubon. And I think for good reason. Fuck, this fucking siege is definitely over. And there's like a somber music playing on the soundtrack in perfect timing as we get blown out here at Pravend. This juggernaut Aserai force just fucking blew us out here. Not much can be said about this other than ouch. And it wouldn't be epic without defeat, right? You win every single battle. It's not epic. It's not a fucking great campaign. That's not real. That's not difficult, right? This is fucking difficult as the Baron gets trucked and we get fucking rolled up in a city defense. You don't see it very much on the channel, so I know some of you guys are probably somber, but defeat is part of the joy of life. And what I mean by that is it makes joy of victory even more significant. And it looks like our garrison just half routed to 344 kills for the Baron. At least there's no death. But there might be execution, right? They definitely could execute the Baron. Comet Royal's getting cut down. Oh, fuck. Comet Royal just got killed. Well, it's a grim, sad battlefield here in the snow at Pravend. Defeat and one of our chief captains killed in battle here in what can only be described as a massacre. I mean, we didn't have that many troops. It wasn't like we lost 2,800 troops, but the Aserai forces here flat out blew us out of the city. And they definitely showed us, right? They showed us bastards. And we lost Comet. We'll do our best, Comet, to get you back in this campaign, right? We're not going to kill you guys off in 3 episodes and then not try to put you back in. But defeat, what can you say, right? We're going to end the episode right here. Little somber note at the end of this episode. At least he's not executed, right? The Baron isn't executed, so he lives to fight on another day. But Oxhall is under siege. Pravend, we had it for what, a day? We didn't have it for very long. And the Aserai were like, nah, I don't think so. We'll take that. How are we going to stop this Aserai force, right? They're going to continue to bore up on us. Again, the Baron's not giving them peace unless they pay him. So I'll let you guys... it's a little bit of a quandary. How the hell are we going to make the Vlandians pay us? Is there some other way that we can defeat them? Obviously not in a siege defense against 4,500. So you want to see more from this campaign? Of course, now's your chance to subscribe. Hit notify. That way you know when new episodes come out. And with all that said, friends, I will see you next time.